Series 1, Episode 7.
I think it's nice to start with series, what number it is, because one day we'll be saying series 1000 and that'll be monumental.
So Series 1, Episode 7, and today is October the 28th?
Correct.
2013. So hello, welcome. We've got some things to talk about tonight.
Oh, have we ever?
Oh yeah, my. You're going to go first, or am I going to go first?
I'm going to go first because I want to start on your 28th of October and say Halloween. There's been a lot of posts, especially today, about people getting upset that Halloween is an American thing, and we're going down the path of Americanization.
Coca-Cola's an American
having
thing.
Halloween. Well, here's the thing. Halloween is English.
Of course, Guy Fawkes.
And I remember... No, that's a different thing. But nice. You burn shit on both occasions in the UK. So I think people get a bit mixed up and they use this anti-American sentiment as a reason for not having Halloween. But I liked Halloween, and I was sad when I first came to Australia and there was no Halloween.
I've got to admit, I'm not a big fan of it. I like the theatricalness of it, the zombies and the witches and
dressing
all
up
that sort of stuff. That's
and
great.
Getting lollies.
Well, that's the bit I don't like. This whole idea of going from house to house and knocking on the door and getting free stuff.
Yeah.
It just, I just don't see it as being safe. I just don't like it.
Okay, I put the other side to you. How about it's a great way to meet your neighbours?
I don't want to meet my neighbours.
Why not?
Because I don't like them.
Well, maybe if you move to a nicer area.
No, it's a good area. I just don't like them. They're loud and they're noisy and they're irritating, and I'm fairly certain they're selling drugs.
All right. Well, if you're in a bad neighbourhood, I have very nice neighbours. I like my neighbours. I think it's important that we should get to know our neighbours, and I think Halloween is a wonderful way that we can do that.
I don't really understand the argument, though, from people saying, it's too American. That makes no sense to me at all, because we do so much that's American anyway.
Well, that's right. You're just going to stop watching television every time something comes on. That's, you're going to stop going to movies that are
So
American.
That's a weak argument, I would say.
It's not even an argument.
I think there are stronger arguments, and I think my argument of not wanting to deal with the neighbours, I think that's a pretty strong one.
Yeah, no, but that's a bad one as well. I think you need to deal with your neighbours because your neighbours are drug dealers
and prostitutes, probably.
Find out once and for all what they're up to and whether their activities pose
if any of my
risk.
neighbours are watching this, you're not the neighbours I'm referring to.
You need to find out whether they're posing a risk to your family as opposed to just going, well, I think they're actually killing people next door, but I don't really know.
That would make sense as well. Look, I think the main reason I don't like these neighbours is because they mow the lawn at 7 a.m. on a Sunday.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I'd hate them too for that. Unless they came and mowed my lawn as well.
Yeah, they've never done that. But if they did, I would perhaps be more suggestible.
Ask them. You should say, look, I understand it's good to get up early. I understand it's good to mow your lawn. Let's not combine those things on a Sunday unless you want to mow my lawn as well. Then go nuts. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. So I think there's a strange anti-American sentiment with Halloween. Maybe it's just a resistance to change more so than anything else.
We've been very resistant though, because there's lots of other things we do that are American traditions.
Yeah, it's silly. It's just silly.
Anyway, can we move on?
Go on.
All right, sharks.
I love sharks.
Well, yeah.
Shark fin soup especially.
Really? You're a big fan of that? Yeah.
No, we're not anymore.
No, not so much. Anyway, there's been a few shark bites lately. I'm not going to call them attacks because that's what sharks do.
Yeah.
They eat.
They bite people.
Well, only if people are in their house. See, the way I figure
a shark doesn't have a house.
Well,
knock on the
door.
Ocean.
The ocean is their house.
Oh, I thought you were Mr. Salmon.
No. See, the thing is, if and when sharks grow legs, then I will be a big fan of taking them out if they attack people.
Yeah, well, this isn't, it's an old argument. We're in their thing.
Absolutely,
and they bite us.
We are.
Yeah, well, that's fine, and most people would agree with that.
It's not like this argument with rapists saying that the only characteristics of a rapist is that they rape, whereas with sharks, the major characteristic of a shark is that it's a hunter. And that it eats things that it thinks are food.
Well, as they say in the movie Jaws, it sleeps, eats, and makes little sharks. That's what sharks do.
So I'm not a fan of this idea of the department being able to say, well, this shark bit a person, and therefore we're going to put out an all-points alert and say we've got to take that shark down. That's ridiculous.
Do you think there's a public safety concern, though,
no, absolutely
in as
not.
Much as
don't be an idiot.
Public beach.
We've just measured the fact, and there's a website where you can see this. There's a shark 500 metres off the coast.
Yeah.
Now's not the time to go surfing. Now's the time to come in, have a burger or a Chico roll.
Yeah, but what if he's there for like a month?
Then it's where he lives.
And nobody in Perth goes swimming for a month.
Well, you could wear one of those suits that disguises you so you don't look like a piece of food.
Could we not, like, have, I don't know, a new sport like a shark rodeo
like that.
where we lasso them and then we pull them out to sea? I don't know, we could take them...
But they come back again. Have you seen how far
Christmas
they swim?
Island, near some illegal boating people. I'm joking,
You're a
kids.
bad man.
But yeah, you know, we could take them somewhere else, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know. Is
Like
there a
where?
shark retirement home? In the middle of the Great Australian Bight. There you go. There's no one there.
Yeah,
Go swimming there as much
Have
as
you
you
seen
like.
what they're doing down in Dunsborough? They're putting up a shark fence.
Around
the
the town?
old Dunsborough Bay.
Oh, in the bay. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
they're putting up a shark fence so that the
Yeah.
sharks can't come in. Or alternatively, if the shark gets in there, it can't get out.
Can't get out. You're stuck with it. They have a similar thing in Geelong. It's like a public swimming pool, like what they used to have at the Crawley Baths here. The metal poles over an area of beach, basically, and that's to protect you from, I don't know what they get there, wobble gongs or something.
Oh, wobbegongs.
Yes, so yeah, you could do that, but
All right.
you know. I don't
So,
know.
in other words, yet again, on this particular issue, we are in ferocious agreement.
Yeah, apart from I've taken it the extra step, I think we should lasso them. I think there might be other options as opposed to leaving them alone or killing them.
Well, I think there's even another step that we could take as well. We could potentially grind down their teeth so that they can only give you a nasty suck.
That's right.
And possibly also
I like
put
that.
sponsorship on the side of them.
Well, that's a good idea. I like that. And then tow them out and let them suck on other fish.
Yeah, that's it. We could change the whole course of their evolution.
Yeah, good one. Anyway, we'll move on.
Is it my turn now? No, it's your turn.
Wasn't there a movie called Gums or something, which was like a parody of Jaws? Which
I don't know. It was probably pornographic.
It was. Dan Savage is a man from the United States.
Dan
He's
Savage,
a provocateur and an
very good
article
column.
writer and a thing and this and that and the other. One of the issues he's been raising is he's homosexual. And he raises the argument that humans weren't meant to be monogamous. And he states research that shows 60% of males and 40% of females are unfaithful in their marriage.
Deceitfully unfaithful or full knowledgeable unfaithful?
Well, if you're full knowledgeable, it's not really unfaithful,
Oh,
surely.
okay. All right. Well, we'll go
If
with
it's full
that.
knowledgeable, it's kind of, okay, well, it's like an open relationship,
Right.
I guess.
3 keys in the bowl.
Yeah. You know, oh, I'm going to see Mary, I'm going to give her one and come home. Okay, honey, I'll
Have a
leave.
shower first. Yeah.
Whereas, you know, the one where, I've got to go to the office late, come back, spunk in your head, that's, you know, that's probably cheating.
See, the whole idea of that really, and whilst in some respects I do agree that we're not meant to be monogamous, at the same time I think there's just too many risks and too many problems inherent with cheating. Not the least of which is diseases.
Well, I'm not talking about cheating. We can understand that cheating is not a good thing because it upsets people.
Well, it's a breach of trust.
Absolutely, and it's, you know, it's something that does far more harm than the 3 seconds of release that you get. 4 seconds if I'm having a good day. But would you go to Trish and say, "Look, Trish, there's this wonderful girl. Look, I really like her. She is absolutely stunning. I think we've got a bit of a thing. Look, I'm sure once I have it off with her, I'll be over this. Would you mind terribly if I just had it off with her once, just to kind of, get it out my system?"
Whilst, yes, that would be a really compelling way of putting that argument. The thing is, I already know through prior discussions that Trish would prefer me not to go off with any other woman or man for that. Particular.
Oh, you've asked about both.
Oh, no, I haven't. But it's just an assumption I make. And
Sure, I go, "Man,
so
okay,
there's no point in even bringing up that conversation.
Okay, yeah.
Because I already know what the answer's going to be,
Yeah.
and I know that I've got it particularly good with Trish.
Do you think women feel the same way, but they're more able to control their emotions? Do you think she sees a guy and she thinks, I would really love to get down his pants,
She's
but
already got a free pass
I'm not going
for
to.
Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, that's that silly
The Rock.
a celebrity thing.
Yeah, she's got free pass for that, and I wouldn't stand in her way. In fact, I'd probably want to watch.
Well, why can't you say, well, you've got to... You do have a thing for The Rock, don't you?
Yeah, no, not really.
Just seeing your wife get hammered.
No, not really. Jennifer Lawrence.
I was going to follow that with, can you have, she's nominated. Does the free pass need to be nominated? Can you say...
It's got to be in advance.
Can I have a blank check on this one?
No, see, it's referred to as the 5. Right? It's not the list of 5 or the queue of 5 or the wishful 5. It's just the 5.
Right.
All right? And so you can change the 5 whenever you want.
Right.
But it would have to be well in advance. And it can't be a local person or local celebrity.
I wonder how Hollywood celebrities go with that. That must be really tough.
Why?
Well, one writes down, that's probably where they have affairs all the time.
Yeah, more than
They
likely.
write down Brad Pitt, and I bumped into Brad Pitt, and I got the pass. So he go, funny enough, I got the pass too.
I have read some particularly disgusting stuff about what the Rolling Stones used to get up to, and in particular Marianne Faithfull with the Rolling Stones and some of the things that it's claimed that she did as a groupie.
Yeah, each to their own. But I wonder, are we being a bit pent up about this?
Probably.
Would it help our relationships?
I think it probably would. But there's no way you'd ever be able to...
If she said, yeah, sure, go on. Just get it out of your system.
I think the bigger problem is if you have the sort of relationship where you're not having a lot of nookie anyway.
Yeah.
At that point, you've got to start asking the question, well, if a red-blooded male needs to get his rocks off every now and then, and the wife doesn't want to do it, surely then there's an argument to say that you should be able to do it elsewhere. And maybe that's what prostitutes are all about.
Look, well, I put it to
guilt.
Tiffany that I need to have a prostitute fund, and what it is for a period of time I go without any wacko. It's $10 in the jar. So after X amount of time, it's like, well, now I need to go and see a prostitute because you're not doing your wifely duty.
And how does that work?
She's not a big fan, and it hasn't really worked, which is really a shame because I thought I was onto a winner there.
It's almost a good idea. See, the good thing about with a prostitute is that there's not going to be any further commitment. There's no basic instinct, sort of boiling the bunny in the pot kind of thing.
But as we've learned when we did that thing in Stirling Street with the police, some of them are just incredibly ugly.
Oh my God!
And I think they'd have to pay me.
Oh, I was just going to say who in their right mind, but I'm guessing a lot of people aren't in their right mind when they pick up the hook.
Maybe they are. Maybe they're just not as fussy. That could be another thing. Anyway, sorry. So you've got something. What have you got? Was that yours?
Fake dope.
Right.
So back in the news at the moment, in fact, October 28th, another article in the West Australian.
Yeah.
It seems what they're doing is they're getting herbs of some description and then spraying them with these chemical compounds.
Nice.
That they keep changing the formulas on so that every time
it's not illegal
they shut it down, there's another window where you've got a month of this stuff that you can use before it becomes illegal again.
Yeah.
So apparently down Rockingham, Kwinana, Port Kennedy way, there's been a huge amount of this stuff on sale, person to person, as well as in some delis and things like that. And they're saying that the big problem with it is that unlike real cannabis, where there's actually been some research done into it, with this stuff there's no research being done into it.
It's unproven.
And even the manufacturers don't know what the full effect's going to be. They're saying it's a little bit like amphetamines this time around. And that's the problem, isn't it? Why are we continuing to have marijuana, real cannabis, be illegal when we know it's safer than the fake stuff?
Do you have an answer for that?
Do you have an answer for that? I don't have an answer for that.
Okay. I don't think anybody really... You get it's a gateway drug. It gives people schizophrenia.
The only reason it's a gateway drug is because you have to go to a drug dealer to buy it.
Well, I would say alcohol's also a gateway drug. Cigarettes are a gateway drug. Cordial is a gateway drug. Everything's a gateway drug.
Fanta.
You're going to start on something. I don't necessarily think all smackheads became that way because they started on marijuana. I personally think that it's so entrenched in society now over the last 100 years that we've lost sight of what it really is.
Well, in America now, apparently somewhere around 60% of the population think that it should be legalized, or at the very least decriminalized.
I think it will be at some stage, it will be decriminalized and/or it will be an acceptable thing. Some people go home, they don't have a glass of red wine, they have a chuff.
What's wrong with that?
I think they're much the same. I don't think there's much difference. I mean, I don't drink wine, nor would I have a chuff after a meal, but I can understand why you'd want to.
If they did look at legalising it,
I like to shoot up after dinner.
The first thing you should be doing is popping out and buying shares in fast food companies, possibly pizza companies, Cheetos, Cheezels, Cocoa Pops.
I think things like emulsifiers and stuff, as people start growing their own too, I think that'll be a big thing if it becomes legal. I think that there is, I don't know, I get the feeling that there's a lot to do with the pharmaceutical trade, and there's a lot of drugs that
but how come it's decriminalised in Adelaide and not here? Like, what that sort of disparity is when people start questioning the validity of laws.
Adelaide is a more liberal state than a lot of the other states in Australia. It's becoming less and less as time goes on, which is a great shame, because one of the things I really like about South Australia is it is a more liberal state and it is more open-minded. But that's changing. You used to be able to have 10 plants. Now you can only have 2 plants. And the rules are changing all the time on the amounts you can have.
I mean, we're talking primarily here about recreational use as well, but as we've discussed before, there is a medical use as well.
Yeah, look, I think the trouble is people see also the other side of it, and there is a problem with teenagers who smoke too much pot, who blow their brains.
We do the same thing with alcohol. You're not allowed to take it under the age of 18.
That's right. It needs to be managed like alcohol. I think it doesn't...
Or tobacco, for that
It shouldn't be a free-for-all. I think tobacco should be illegal.
I agree. Because there are no positive outcomes from the use of tobacco.
No, I take that back. It shouldn't be illegal. I don't think anything should be illegal, but I think it should be managed. I think the problem with cigarettes is people smoking a pack a day of filtered cigarettes with papers full of chemicals. I think if you went back to Peace Pipey, where 4 old men sat round a tree, had a bit of a chuff round the fire, whether it's marijuana or tobacco or whatever it is, I think there is worth in that, and I don't think that's something we should be stopping. I think what we've turned it into, though, is this addiction. We've put it into this cylindrical, direct to your head injection device, which is far more dangerous, I think. So I don't think we should make tobacco illegal. I think we need to look at the way we sell and market these drugs.
We manage it. In other words, make it available on prescription from pharmacies.
Yeah, or start education in schools, that we're not just saying...
I think we do.
We're not just saying smoking is bad. We're not just saying this stuff is bad, this stuff is good. What we're doing is we're giving people, you know what, you're going to be on the planet for 90, 100, 110 years.
Yeah, but do you not remember those TV commercials with the guy going, don't smoke, whatever you do, don't smoke?
But it sends the wrong message, because to a 15-year-old it means nothing. It means nothing. Oh, that's going to happen in a millennia. It's not until the doctor says, oh, by the way, we need to cut a bit of your throat out, before you go, oh, shit, that happened quickly.
I might have made a misjudgment somewhere along the way.
I think the education needs to start in school. I think and it doesn't have to be this is good health, this is bad health. I think we need to teach people about moderation, about doing something socially, about not being addicted to something.
Sex. Yeah.
Don't be addicted to it. I don't know what's the difference between addiction and just wanting lots of it.
Not a lot of difference. Next, is it mine or yours?
It's a thin line. It's mine. It's the big thing. Also, this week is the NSA and online privacy. The Americans have been spying on the German Chancellor,
Angela Merkel,
and various other people. They haven't confirmed nor denied whether they were spying on the Australian Prime Minister. So the question arises: really, who thinks they have? If you're online, it's not private.
It's not just even online; it's all telephone calls as well.
Yeah,
whether mobile or landline, they're all being recorded.
Those days are gone. I think those days of anonymity have disappeared. Those days of privacy in your own back garden.
Or even when you're out and about. I mean, let's have a look what we're doing here right now. We've got a camera, we've got a microphone, it's recording everything. But you've got another camera and microphone in your pocket.
Yeah.
In my car, I have a camera and a microphone that records everything when I'm driving.
Yeah.
I bet you if we looked at any of these buildings around here, I bet you a good percentage of them actually have security cameras that are probably pointing out this way as well. I reckon wherever you go, whenever you go these days, you're being recorded.
And if that's not the case, it certainly will be within the next 10 to 20 years. We're making a big deal about it. I think we need to change our habits now and presume that you are always being recorded and videoed and behave accordingly.
But what does that mean?
Well,
how would you change your behaviour knowing that you're being recorded?
If you're going to overthrow the king, you need to presume that...
But that's, isn't that... certainly that's some of the conversations that I've seen coming out lately. I don't know if you actually saw Russell Brand's interview that he did with Jeremy Paxman, and he was talking about how a revolution is coming. How are we going to organise that revolution if everything that we do is monitored?
Well, I'm not a fan of revolution anyway. I'd agreed with a lot of his sentiment, but I think revolution is obsolete. I think all revolution does is create a power vacuum where a different set of power-hungry despots steps in its place. I think
so you're thinking better the devil you know?
No, not at all. I think we need to find something else other than revolution, which I thought...
Communism.
No, communism starts with a revolution. Anywhere where you've got to take a gun and go and take somebody's property off them at gunpoint, I don't think is a way to go about starting something. I think you need
But how do we redress the balance between people like Twiggy and people who just got billions of dollars, so obscene amounts of money? How can that balance ever be addressed? They don't need that much money. There's no practical use for it whatsoever. They don't even use it. Oh, those motorbikes. They're going rather fast.
Doing the speed limit.
Yeah.
It just seems faster when you're on a bike. So what, you don't like Twiggy's wealth? But some people would say that about you. Some people would say that about me. Or we don't deserve our wealth.
You can get to a certain point in your life. Surely we can treat our lives a little bit more like a game. We can go, hey, I've now got $5 million in the bank. I won. I can have a rest now.
Well, Twiggy has given away, I like calling him Twiggy, it makes him sound like a 70s chin-up girl, has given a lot of money to universities and various things, so he's trying to do the right thing with his money. Reinhardt, I don't think she's ever given away a cent in her life, I may be wrong.
Not even to her own kids.
Yeah, I know, she's holding on to those billions as much as she can. I think what we need to do is convince, if not those people, that the people that will be those people in the future, to have a more utilitarian, is that the right word, or egalitarian look at their place in the world and use their power.
Certainly Bill Gates has done the right thing.
Warren Buffett,
yep.
He's pledged pretty much to give away everything he's ever earned. To charity before he dies.
Not yet. I've got to hang on to it just for now.
Oh, before he dies. He wants to live a comfortable life, and then when he dies,
Oddly enough,
his kids will try and fight over his ideas.
A brilliant segue into my topic, super profits.
Yeah.
Now, clearly none of that's worked in regards to mining here in Australia. Whatever legislation there was totally screwed up because it hasn't generated anywhere near the dollars.
Combination of pissweak legislation and bad timing.
But with mining companies, you can see a reasonably compelling argument that if you hit them with the super profits tax, they'll probably go and dig up stuff elsewhere. Now that's okay because that means that the stuff's going to stay in the ground until somebody considers it to be financially viable to dig up the stuff in the ground.
Yeah.
So that's okay. It's not going to go off. The iron ore is not going to go sour.
Yeah.
So that's great. But we need to be casting the net a bit wider. There's lots of organisations, lots of sectors in Australia that are making super profits. And the banks are clearly one of those. Now you've got the big four. If you said to the big four, right, super profits tax is going to happen now, they're not going to pack their bags and leave the country. They're going to have to deal with the laws of the country that they're in.
ANZ announced on the 28th that they had made, was it 6.3 or 6.8 billion dollars?
Which is great for shareholders.
One was net, one was a gross figure. That's right, they were paying a dividend of 90 cents per share. Their shareholders would be incredibly happy. I couldn't help but wonder, yesterday I went to a cafe in a Victoria Park shopping centre and they didn't have an FPOS machine. So I had to go and use the machine that was in the shopping centre. I paid $2 for that.
Which doesn't sound like much. But multiply that by
however many times a year.
Not just you, but other people in the population.
It's hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, I would imagine.
And it certainly didn't cost them anywhere near $2.
And it cost them nothing. It cost them absolutely 0.01 of a cent, if anything.
Now, those sorts of obscenities.
I think more so than super profits, we need to have a legitimate framework in place that says you cannot blatantly rip people off more than 8,000%. Which something like that would be.
Yes, but this comes back to these ideals of capitalism, freedom, democracy, in that people should be able to sell whatever other people are willing to buy.
At whatever price.
Whatever price they ask. If you're willing to buy it, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, there is. But that being the case, to some degree, you can have, when you have the big four banks and you have two big supermarkets, you have a thing which the ACCC...
That's a duopoly, isn't it?
Toothlessly tries to work on, and which the Liberal government wants to dismantle, a thing called price collusion, where the banks can go, well, you know what, we'll charge $2, you charge $2. If everybody charges $2, it's completely illegal to do that. But I can assure you, even though they may not do it in the meeting room, there is certainly an unwritten agreement that happens.
Well, have a look what happens with petrol prices.
Absolutely, and every now and again we'll have another inquiry or another thing about it, and it never ever changes. Nothing ever changes. For some reason, petrol always goes up by 15 cents Wednesday night or Tuesday night.
Viva la revolution!
Not the revolution, but we need to educate kids about this shit. So when they get into those positions, they've been
educated on it so they can exploit it even further.
That's right. Or hopefully you'll find those who are a bit wiser and a bit more mature and a bit more empathetic making decisions that are actually better for everyone. Because you know what, banks, if you stop pulling that money out of everybody's pockets at the ATM machine, then they might go and spend that money elsewhere, which means they might be able to get an extra chance at investing in a house or a business or a car or something that's going to be a better return for you because you're going to loan them the money to buy that shit.
Here's part of the problem. Any organisation which is a company with public shareholders is beholden to those shareholders and has to, under ASIC regulations, provide everything that they do has to be in pursuit of the dollar. They have to maximise shareholder value.
No, it doesn't. Of course, if that's the way the company's structured and they want to attract investment, then you're going to put that in your clause of business management.
No, what I'm saying is by definition, ASIC say you have to maximise shareholder value.
But there are different ways of maximising shareholder value, and I would argue that one way of maximising shareholder value is to build security and is to build confidence in the society with which your company is invested heavily in. And one of the ways to do that is to make sure that your profit structure is done in such a way that it takes in the responsibility and understanding of things like the environment, like
I want to come and live on your planet.
Wealth. No, well, I'm not saying that's how it is. I'm saying that's what you would like. That's what you should be aiming for. I understand that's not how it is, and I understand why it's not like that. But we tend to have this left versus right thing, and I think that it doesn't need to be that. There is a humanity line somewhere there in the middle. Is that 30 minutes?
Are we done?
I think so.
I've had it. If it carries on much longer, it's going to get into fisticuffs, I'm pretty sure. That was episode 7 of Jordan and Cook. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back again next week, and we'll try and find yet another creative location, perhaps somewhere with beer.
Yes, beer is good. This doesn't even have coffee near it.
Doesn't. Adios.